One, MetLife Stadium Drive, one of the two NFL stadiums shared by two teams. But we're not here to talk about that or that team across the hall. Keith Ippolito and John Rad are only here to talk about the true football giants. We talk Giants football and wherever else the conversation may take us. So deal with it. This is the Shared Stadium Podcast. Bold statements, revisionist history, and really and truly, someone has been named the breakout star of the season, and I'm just kind of like, really? We're going to talk about all that and more here on the Shared Stadium Podcast. I'm John Rad, along with my teammate, my tag team partner, my man, 50 grand, Keith Ippolito. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great tonight, man. I'm super excited to get another show in the books. Like you said, we got a lot to talk about. Lots going on at OTAs officially starting today, and a couple people made some appearance, or it looks like they're ahead of schedule. So, yeah, I'm excited to get to it all, man.
And the person he's alluding to, because, you know, we got a lot to talk about, and clearly he's had a lot to say as well, is Daniel Jones. He's in a good spot. He's ahead of schedule. He's at OTAs. He's doing 7-on-7s, which is great. That's the upside. Evidently, he's feeling some kind of way because the New York Giants were looking for a quarterback. And he's a little bit in his feelings about that. And to that, I say, so you were just hurt, bud.
You're not sympathetic at all, John?
Absolutely not. You were just... Okay, two things. Number one, and maybe I stand alone on this. Maybe there'll be people who are upset with me about this. We got rid of Saquon Barkley. Why? Because he was injury prone. Sorry, but it's true. Daniel Jones, you just spent 90% of the season injured. What are we supposed to do? What have you shown us? Is that you can't take a hit. And so what are we supposed to do? And I get it. We piecemealed it together through last season, but we can't do it. If you're in your feelings about it, I tell you what, come back and say that again when you're in the playoffs. Then you know what? Okay.
So here, I'll throw this back at you, which is one reason maybe we have a good season this year. So you remember when they did not re-up Jones for his fifth-year option on his rookie deal, and he went out and balled, even won the first-round playoff game against the Vikings? Do we have that happen this year because he's got a chip on his shoulder? I'm not going to say no to that.
I've always said, a chip on the shoulder will get you 14 points. A chip on the shoulder will get you 2 touchdowns. If you have that chip on the shoulder, and I guess I say that to say this, you're coming off of an injury. It wasn't like you're coming off of a career season and they went... And we always use this example because if you're following us, thank you. Wherever you get your podcast, like, subscribe, follow, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Whether you like us or hate us, tell somebody about it. We live in Atlanta. They went out, they got Kirk Cousins, and then they drafted a quarterback as well. Kirk Cousins has the right to be upset because you know what? You came. That's like me saying I went to ask this girl to the prom. Will you go to the prom with me? And I also went and asked another girl, will you go to the prom with me too? Just in case, you know, she's not willing to go back to the hotel with me. Will you go to the prom with me? That's what they did. You asked out 2 dates. But now here's the difference.
What if you're in Utah? You might be able to get away with that, John.
See, we got a good following in Utah. Don't go knocking the people. People in Utah, y'all go after him. We got a good following in Utah, Keith. But here's the thing. Daniel Jones, he didn't get to go to the prom. You weren't even at school after Christmas break. So why would you be upset that I wouldn't ask another girl to the prom? You weren't even there by the time we got to Christmas break. Call me when you've gotten to the play. If he would have came out and said this in the playoffs, going to the playoffs, Daniel, you've had a great season, had a stellar season, a so-so season. I really just had a chip on my shoulder when they went out, looked for a quarterback. And look, we have a great relationship, but I had a chip on my shoulder. Felt like I had something to prove. Hey, you know what? Cool, you proved it. But if you go out here and I'm going to just go ahead and say it. I don't want to jinx us, but I'm going to say it. You go out here and pull a Aaron Rodgers, I'm done. It's over. I'm done. You can go
Oh,
home. I'll pay you.
oh,
Finito.
hey, I'm with you. You're not alone on that. I mean, if he goes out and if he gets injured or if he has just a complete clunker of a season, yeah, I'm, oh, 100%. But honestly, nothing would surprise me if he went out and had a baller season this year like he did because he was angry when they didn't pick him up for the fifth year option and he got paid the 45 plus $1 million a year. So, hey, I'm okay with that, and if he wants to do that, and especially what I'm seeing or, reading about what Neighbors and even Wandell and the other wide receivers, they all look good today. So if he wants to do that, I'm all in, dude. I'm really, really excited about that. Another thing that I was reading online I know it's only the first day of OTAs, but so Locke had one good throw. Or he had two big bombs, is what I read. One of them he screwed it up, missed the throw. The second one he got it to Neighbors and got it. But overall, what I read on Twitter and online is that Locke did not look good today. So I mean, he's the backup. I mean, not that because I only reason I bring it up is just because I feel like the narrative is always going to be caught up. When are they going to bring Locke in? Especially because even after game one, if Daniel Jones is thrown 2, 3, 4 picks and just looks horrendous, people are going to be saying, put Locke in right now. You know it.
At this point in time, I don't care about either one.
Yeah.
No one's in pads, and everybody's rusty. Everybody's tired. So at this very moment in time, as I'm looking at everything, I don't care. You and I look great right now.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, and what am I looking at? Drew Lock, what? He only played 4 games last year.
Oh, yeah.
He played 4 games last year. He was replaced by that's right, that was Russell Wilson's backup. And Russell Wilson didn't get hurt. So right now the kid has a little rust on him. And I'm not being a Drew Lock sympathizer. I don't care. Either one of you. Here's what I want right now. I want my quarterback to make it through the entire year. I don't want to know who the backup is. I don't care to know who the backup is. Why? Because I'm hoping that my quarterback is having good enough games where I don't care. Here, I'll put it like this.
Unless you're the team that we share that stadium with, they wanted to know all about the backup. Apparently, they forgot to have one on their roster last year.
Well, you know what that is? That's a them problem.
That amen from your lips to God's ears, brother.
That's a them problem, and let's just face facts on something. That team across the hall and that wear a darker color than this, and for those of y'all who can't see it, I'm wearing green. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I got home from work. For those, you got a quarterback. You have one of the oldest quarterbacks in the league right now, who just came off an Achilles tear, who goes and sits in a cave and does darkness therapy meditation or something like that.
And didn't he go to Costa Rica for ayahuasca retreat as well?
I mean,
so by the record, I was at the gym recently so I've heard about ayahuasca, but I didn't really know how it all works. And this guy explained it to me. It sounds absolutely awful. So you basically do it and you just like throw up the whole time, but you have this like outer body experience. He was like, "Would you want to do it with me?" I was like, "Yeah, throw up? Have you lost your mind? I have no interest in that. That sounds horrible."
Keith, for those of y'all who can't see us right now, let's be a little transparent. I have out of body experiences that feel about the same way when the cops pull me over. So I don't need. There are easier ways to go about this. I'm good. I don't.
So you're telling me you're out on the ayahuasca?
Yeah, that's a hard no on the ayahuasca. How about I go get some peach tea, some
peach
Arnold Palmer. Okay,
that sounds a lot better for me too.
But look, Daniel Jones wasn't the only one talking. Now, I like this one, though. Kayvon Thibodeau. He said I'm going for Michael Strahan's record.
Mm-hmm.
And people want to say, well, why are you okay with this? You're striving for something. You're striving
Yeah.
for greatness. If I would have been okay if Daniel Jones would have said to me, I would have still laughed at him. If he would have said, I'm striving for Tom Brady records. Okay. Good luck, kid. But hey, I'm okay with that.
You got 7 more to go.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
I'll sign on the dotted lines for that too.
If you're striving for that, cool. If you're going for Michael Strahan's record, outstanding. I'm all for it. That lets me know you got a motor in you. That lets me know you got drive in you. That lets me know you're taking the offseason serious and you're going to go talk to people like Aaron Donald. And when these defensive linemen get together, they have their camps. You're going to be there for that. I'm all for that. He's not saying that anything of I'm upset because they went and picked him. So what? Go out there, play your game, win the games, do what you do.
Yeah, exactly. I just like when I hear that, it's like it just makes me love him that much more because he's one of our studs on the defense. And another thing that I was reading about earlier is basically Brian Burns and Phibbs and their relationship and how much fun that they're having and they're competing and they have a really strong bond. So I'm looking for big things from them. And once I was not aware of this, but apparently they even go back to high school. So they have like that, that relationship too. Almost, I guess. I don't want to say maybe like little brother, big brother type thing, but they go back a long way. So it's super exciting. I heard a cut of them. I think it was Phibbs, and he was saying that basically Phibbs is from the West Coast and Burns is a country boy from Florida, I believe. So he said that they're educating each other on music and different things or whatever. So it's cool to hear some of the guys talk about that. Another thing that I thought was really cool too, a word that I know you love, Brian Burns got that dog in him, man. Apparently he made a hell of a play in OTAs today. Again, it's only OTA, but when some reporter asked him about it in, the media session, and he was like, "It's OTAs. Who cares, man? I'm just,
100%.
I love it, man.
100%.
It makes me love this guy that much more, dude."
Brian Burns is somebody that he wanted to be in New York. And that's the thing that I love the players that it's not that I just want to be somewhere for the money. I want to be somewhere for everything, for that culture, for that environment, for everything that's there. That's the type of player that you want. If you go back and you look at that 2001, 2002 Baltimore Ravens team, and I'm talking about the Ray Lewis, the Shannon Sharp, Ogden.
Why am I why am I drawing a blank on the Hall of Fame safety?
Ed Reed.
Yeah, Jesus God.
Goose. When you start looking at that culture and you're like, I want to be a part of that culture, that lets me know that the Giants are building something that if you're a player for another team, you're looking around saying, I want to be a part of that culture because there is a culture there. If you look at what, and I don't know if they have it right now, but if you look at the culture that Pittsburgh has had, if you look at the culture that New England had, whether as toxic as it might have been, if you wanted to be there, you knew how to be a part of that culture. For someone, and that's what I say about Burns, he looked at this Giants team and said, I like the culture they're building. I want to be a part of that. And I want players that want to be a part of a culture because let's just face it, that's what won us the Super Bowls. When you had that defense that was Osi Umenyiora, Michael Strahan, that defense, that culture of that defense won us Super Bowls. And so
Definitely.
the last two. So that's why I say he looks at it. And if you got that kind of attitude and that kind of mentality, you're going to have a little bit of something that's going to go into it.
100%, man. I mean, it's so nice to have a player like that on the team, and it just makes me that much more excited. I know we do have, work to do on, both sides of the ball, but I'm encouraged and, it makes me that much more, love this team that much more. And I trust Dable. I trust Shane. And another on to Dable from what I was reading on Twitter too. I guess just because it's the first one. Normally Dable is this high very vocal, intense guy, and everything was saying online that he was kind of setting a mild tone, not quite as vocal as compared to usual. And I'm not saying this as a negative thing. I guess he's first time out there. Maybe he's just trying to loosen the players up before the summer start. I don't know. What's your take on that, John?
Call me when the pads get popping. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
and unfortunately, doing a thing like a podcast, all we can do is talk about what they're talking about, and that's all we can do. But it's when the pads get popping, and the reason I say that, and once again, I talk about culture. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? It's the Steelers head coach.
Oh, Tomlin.
Tomlin's not a yeller.
No.
Tomlin's not a yeller. There's a clip where he walks up, I think it was to his safety, or maybe his tight end. One of his players puts his arm around him and said, "Hey man, you can't be that selfish." That's leadership right there.
Exactly.
So if you want the him and hard, and granted, he's not long since removed. Bill Belichick wasn't a yeller. He was
no.
He gave you the,
he'd give you the look or the cold shoulder or whatever. But he wasn't much of a yeller, that's for sure.
Chucky Gruden wasn't much of a yeller. And what do these two men have in common besides one of them is great and the other one is okay? But both of them have Super Bowl championships. So
Yes.
call me when the pads get popping on that part. But all we can do is talk about what they're talking about. Somebody else who's talking, and good for him. It's a wide receiver. You expect it. They're divas. And I called you a diva because we are celebrating 100 years, and we know the 100-year, the century uniforms are out. Some people hate them. Some people love them. Our rookie wide receiver, Malik Neighbors, has come out and said, man, I can't put no swag on with that. and I get it. It's not... You're looking for, and here's the problem, and here's what I'll go with that. You've had these, they're not even real uniforms, but you've had the Color Rush uniforms come out. You've had these uniforms that come out that aren't true uniforms they're not approved by the NFL, and they look really good.
Yeah.
But everybody's forgetting. We're just celebrating the history of it. It's no different than, and I keep picking on them, that's interesting. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers Bumblebee uniform.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Green Bay Packers in that ugly brown uniform.
Yeah,
We're just celebrating the history. The jerseys look tight. The helmets are tight. Just get rid of the khakis. But it's a diva wide receiver. What do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're on the same page, and it's and I don't have a problem with it. I mean, he's a young kid. He's into the league. He's having fun. It is what it is, man. It's like the team's just celebrating the comments because I saw some people on social media overlooking it or whatever, and I've read the guy his comments. There's nothing there, man. It's just people on social media, finding things to bitch about for no reason at all. So it's a nothing burger as far as I'm concerned, man. And I love the jersey. Honestly, I think I might buy one at some point this year. And hey, maybe if we get a sponsor, maybe we can do a jersey giveaway this season, John.
Sure, you're giving it away to me first. No, but look, if you're telling me that you can't catch the ball because of the uniform you have on, you're in the wrong sport. Plain and simple. Exactly. You can't catch the ball because you're in the wrong sport. Put the uniforms on. As long as they're built the same, not to jump over to the NBA, but it's like when the NBA came out with the short sleeve jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
That's different. If you tell me they got to go back to the 3/4 sleeve wool jersey, then okay, that's different. It's the same thing. It's just a different color. Get over it. Move on. Something else that's time to move on. You're listening to the Shared Stadium podcast. John, Rad, Keith Ippolito. We're talking about the New York Giants. We share a stadium with that other team, but we don't care about that. But something else it's time to move on from. The New York Giants, they have, obviously we discovered, if you've been a long time listener, we figured it out ourselves. This is their first time where they're doing Hard Knocks. but they're doing Hard Knocks just a little bit different. So we're not going to get to see the players that because the tradition of Hard Knocks was, it used to be you found that undrafted free agent that you
Yeah.
fell in love with, your
Mm-hmm.
rookie, your veteran, the
And
wild
yep.
card, and the
Yep.
coach, and maybe the owner, depending on the team. You found
Yeah.
all of that made the gumbo that was Hard Knocks, and you got to see the pads popping, and
Oh
maybe a
yeah.
fight broke out, and the facilities and all of that. You don't get to see any of that. We're going to see the off season. We're going to see the Saquon Barkley, deal falling apart. We're going to see all of that, and it's going to lead up to, I guess, the first week of July before we truly get into OTAs. So
Yeah.
we're going to see all of that. And to that, I say it might be time for Hard Knocks to put a pretty bow on the box and go. Because at this point in time, I think you've now gotten all 32 teams. It's time to go. It's time to wrap it up and go away.
Yeah. Like we've previously discussed on other episodes. I'll be 100% honest with you. I haven't watched, the recent Hard Knocks in quite some time. It's just like you've seen one, you've seen it all. I mean, unless I think for maybe this season with the Giants, I think the one storyline that I would personally be interested in is the whole back and forth with Saquon Barkley and all that sort of stuff. I think I would be interested in seeing all the dynamics with that. Is there any footage with Shane or Dable and Mara or Barkley or whatever? So I would be curious from that. But I mean, I do agree with you. Like you said previous in our last episode, is like, what are we really watching for? Eh, unless we find out someone who's just got a really big camera, a camera personality or whatever, it could be really good. But I mean, again, the only thing I have interested in is the whole Barkley thing.
If you're gonna do something, and I remember Hard Knocks was with the Atlanta Falcons, and they didn't follow Matt Ryan a bunch. But it was a scene when Matt Ryan walked into the wide receiver room, and he kind of took over their meeting to tell one of the wide receivers they ran the wrong route and kind of cut here, do that, boom, 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 boom. And it showed the leadership of Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I don't care if Saquon Barkley's gone, because you know what? Spoiler alert, I know how it ends. I know how the story ends. He's not in Giants blue anymore.
Oh,
So
he's in green.
I know how it ends. If you want to show me Daniel Jones working out, taking over a wide receiver room, or even something that we don't know about, Daniel Jones at home calling every wide receiver on the roster saying, "Hey, meet me in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've rented an estate. We're going to work out there." Okay, now you got my interest is piqued. But you're trying to show me things that I know how they end, and then what do I care about? I already know how the story ends. I know how the end of the book ends. I don't care. I think Hard Knocks is something that it was a great idea conceptually when it first started.
Oh
I
yeah.
I think it's now at a point where they're looking to do whatever, because they did the Hard Knocks during the season, and and no one cares. No one wants to see that. The teams don't even want you there. So
No, because it's a distraction.
Yes.
I'm sure the head coaches don't want it during in season. I could probably guarantee you that. And especially with like social media and all the the NFL Network and everything, it's like it's almost impossible. Like if something controversial or crazy happens in the locker room or whatever, we're gonna know about it. So like when you go back to watch Hard Knock, is like you're watching something that already previously happened, but if they can shine another angle on it or something that we didn't happen to know about it, then yeah, I guess so. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna. I mean, they're probably not gonna be done with it. They'll probably just keep going with it until the money cow stops.
Who? Because your bigger teams, and unfortunately, if the NFL has to step in to have you do it, then it's not as entertaining. If you
Hmm.
wanted to do something, I tell you what, do. And NFL Network, HBO, if you're listening, I'm gonna help you out. You want to do an in-season one? Do every team that has to make a trip to whether it be Germany or London or
Oh yeah.
Istanbul, and you do those games. Those are the only, because it's only going to be what, like 6 of them.
Yeah. Aren't they doing a game in Rio this year as well?
And that's exact. Show all of that. Show how they pack up, and show how the equipment manager and how the players pack up and how they get ready and what they do when they get over there. And maybe you'll get lucky. I'm not wishing for anything bad to happen, but if something like a upheaval or something happens and you have to lock down a hotel, oh, we got drama. And you can
Yeah, it's
do
on
this
camera.
live. It's on camera. It's
Yeah.
live. It's natural. It's organic. Do that, and that'll also spike the interest in people wanting to watch. The players are on the plane. You get to take them behind the scenes, showing what did you do during this 16-hour flight. We play cards. We do this. We do that. We do
Yeah.
camaraderie. We get to the hotel. We take a nap. Our families are here. We do this. We do that, and then you're done. So it's a one-off. It's a
Yeah.
one-off.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with the whole season. The players come back. You follow the two teams, not one, the two teams. Follow the two different teams for their bye week. You move on to the
Yeah.
next one. You're done. And you might get a little bit of interest there, but at this point in time, Hard Knocks is, because let's pull the curtain back a little bit for those of y'all who don't know. And Keith and I, we both worked in for a local sports talk radio station here in Atlanta. We both cover multiple teams. Pro football players, most pro athletes, but particularly like coaches, they don't want to talk to the media anyway. So
Oh God, no.
they don't want the camera there after the game. Why do I want the camera following me around for a month and a half?
Yeah, exactly. Again, it's nothing more than a distraction, and especially if you have a diva player, a wide receiver who's a diva, or whoever, it's just going to create more distractions and take the emphasis or the concentration on actually playing the game, because you'll have somebody in the locker room who wants to get their 5 minutes of fame or whatever, and it might cause issues in the locker room. If I was a head coach, I wouldn't want to be on Hard Knocks, not at all.
It's over. It's time for Hard Knocks.
Especially not in season. I OTAs and summer and that I don't think that is as big as an issue, but in season, yeah, I definitely, if I was a head coach, I would not want anything. I would not want to be one of the teams.
And it's so heavily edited too. There's so much that's sitting on the cutting room floor that let's not sit there and pretend like this is 100% live. There's a lot of editing that goes into it. So
Of course.
whatever, Hard Knocks go away.
Yeah.
But back to people talking. Mara has taken his stance. New York Giants owner, CEO, he's spoken up. He's a big fan of the hip drop rule. For those of you
Yeah.
who don't know, it's when a player runs to try to make the tackle. It's not the falling forward tackle. They just kind of drop their hips so they fall back. The problem that comes about from that is that most times when this happens, you're either on the behind or on the side of a player. So
Yeah.
at that point in time, you're landing on someone's ankle or knee, and it causes the roll up that causes the injury. So now what happens is you lose your star running back, your star wide receiver. But here's the other problem. And Keith, we said we were going to talk about this off air. We were talking about this off air, I should say.
Yeah.
And I'm going to lean on you for this one. Because here's what I can see. If you go back and watch King George, running back he was with the Titans. Now he's with, I think, Baltimore.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Derrick
Henry. Derrick Henry. That's the only way most people could pull him down.
Yeah.
They did the hip drop.
Yeah.
So now what happens when a running back can break into the open field And you can't do that because it's a penalty. Yes, you'll stop the momentum and stop the play. But if I'm not mistaken, I think that's like a 15-yard penalty. What do you
Yeah,
do now?
I don't know, man. And honest, like, I mean, obviously, from a fantasy and a gambling aspect, we talked about this offline. Like you said in our text message, like I would think yards per carry is going to go up. I would think scoring could potentially go up. I would also be very curious to see what some of the what it does to some of player props numbers. Do those touchdown total or do those yards, do all those go up? I mean it does have implications from that, but even more importantly from than that aspect of it, I don't like this rule. I don't know about you. Like I understand they're trying to protect players, but like you just said about Derrick Henry is like, what do you do with someone like that who is just that much of a stud? It's like, and I understand you want to protect the players, but you can't officiate everything out of the game. And eventually, you're, in my opinion, get to a point where you're over officiating, and you just are ruining the game. I mean, I'm tired. I'm not watching these damn games to hear from the zebras all the time. Most of them are terrible to begin with. So it's like now we're just gonna have more yellow flags on the ground. I'm tired of that shit, dude. I don't know about you.
In football, you're taught not to think. So if I'm chasing a man down and I get him and I lean back to just drop my hip to try and tackle him,
Yeah.
that's a penalty. But on the inverse of that, as a defensive lineman, you want me to run head on into the quarterback, twist my hips, and basically pull him down that way.
Yeah.
So I asked the question. I've asked it for the past couple of years. I'll continue to ask the question. And I know people who are out there, which coming up, we're going to talk to some of y'all who are listening. We're going to talk to some of y'all. I know people will have their own smart aleck answer. I don't know how to tackle anymore because now what comes about is, okay, so if you're a running back, a defensive lineman can pick you up and put you on the ground hard. If you're a quarterback, can't do that.
Exactly.
If you are a big running back and you just so happen to make it to the second or third level, most safeties can't pull you down that way. So you want them to take you head on. But now what's going to come about is two things. Is A, the safeties are going to go back to almost unsafe tackling techniques.
Yeah, they'll probably lunge at him, and
Exactly.
Which God knows, could probably concussions up again. Leaning in with your helmet, you break your damn neck. Like you said, is like people tackling has become a lost art.
Off. It's Radio 101, baby.
I know. I was actually talking to a former player about this a while ago.
Brian Finneran?
No, not Brian Finneran. I was talking to Mike Ken actually, and we were talking about tackling, and he was like he gets so frustrated watching that these players don't know how to tackle, and even back in the day is like I mean, I know there was injuries. There's always going to be injuries, but I feel like some of these are just so reckless. And it's like, like you just honest. I don't even think you'd have to go back to any rule changes or officiating or whatever, but get back down to even like the youth level or the practice level and remind these guys how to properly tackle.
So I'm going to explain. I pulled it up here on the NFL's website. A hip drop is explained as number one, grabs the runner with both hands or wraps the runner with both arms and unweighs himself by swiveling and dropping his hips and or lower body, landing on the trapping the runner's legs or below the knee. So what that means is when you wrap them up, you ultimately have to thrust forward because dropping backwards, and if you land on his legs, it's a
Leg.
penalty. So you have
Yeah.
to be able to wrap him up and thrust yourself forward. So ultimately, instead of going this way, you're thrusting forward and almost a chest to head plant on the ground. And this
Yeah.
will be, if you do the hip drop tackle, it's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
See, that's way too harsh for me. Not so now you're telling me it's a 15-yard penalty and a first down, and I can see how in so many instances, I actually cannot wait until something like a rule like or a flag like this gets dropped in a serious game or a playoff game or God forbid even the Super Bowl, and it ruins the damn game. I mean, it's God, man. I'm just so tired of this over officiating. It drives
It's
me
coming.
crazy, man. I
It's
know it's
coming.
coming. I
It's gonna
know.
happen. It's gonna happen. And so I guess with this coming about, as the NFL is considering something else, it's no point because you're giving penalties for everything. The NFL is considering electronic yard measurements to be one of the rule changes. Now, I understand this one. It's amazing that here we are, 2024, almost, we're close to 2025 now, that we're still walking out there with chains. But I can laser level my front yard. I can run a laser level from here, quarter of a mile up the road, and measure that. Why can't we just run a laser level across the field and then just check from there?
Yeah. So yeah, this is a no-brainer to me. I don't know honestly why they haven't implemented this sooner. And actually, I could see how this, not only I could see the players liking this, but from a viewership and a fan perspective, I would imagine this would also speed up the games, and also even in crucial situations, when they have to reset the ball or whatever, I would imagine that it would help with that too. So yeah, I love this. In fact, I don't see how this could go wrong. I mean, only maybe if there was a malfunction with the device, but they're still going to have the old school chains out there as a backup or whatever. So yeah, I think this is probably one of the few things that the NFL has gotten right. So I'm going to give them kudos for it, John. I don't think that's something you can say too often.
I can argue against that, and I will. The only thing I will say to that is you need to make sure that the chains or some sort of marker, and I know you said the chains will still be there, they need to be 100% accurate. And what I mean by that is if the play clock is running down, I'm a tight end, and I'm George Kittle.
Yeah.
All I need is the first down to win the game. You throw me the ball, I get the first down, I fall to the ground. If that measurement's off and you're telling me now I'm a yard short, and now it doesn't implement the time where I can eat up that clock to keep the clock going so I can win this game. If something's off in that two coordinations, I have an issue with that, because that's a drawn play is where I can see where the chain is. I run my route, I turn, boom, fall, clock, game's over. If I can't see my chains anymore and I can't see where they are, I have a problem with that. But the laser measurement, do you think?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, and like I'm glad they have the chains as a backup. And actually, I didn't even think about that point until you mentioned it. Is like if you're a tight end, wide receiver, or whatever, or even a running back, and you need that extra yard, I want to know where it is. I want that visual, because I'm gonna give that extra 110% to try and get that extra yard for a first down in a crucial situation. So yeah, no, yeah, I'm definitely glad that they are gonna have the old school change there just as a backup. But yeah, I mean, I do think this is a good thing overall for the league. So yeah, I applaud it. I mean, it, like you said, the only thing is they just need to make sure they have it calibrated. But I'm assuming they're gonna do that. It's a multi-billion-dollar league, so yeah, I'm all for it, man.
Now, John Mara, I brought him up earlier. We're going to talk about him a little bit more here. Which, by the way, you listen to the Jared Stadium podcast. We talk all things Giants and whatever else we want to talk about. You heard the opening. Anyway, John Mara, surprisingly enough, is not a fan of the 18-game regular season. And I can't say that I think he's wrong. That's a lot of football to still be playing for players who have been pushing back to try. Because if everything is player health, player safety, player concerns,
Yes.
player this, player that, but I want you to go play in Germany. I want you to go play in all these different places. I want to put all these other rules in place for your safety, but I want you to play more. You can't do both. Like you're
No,
talking out of
it's
both sides of your mouth.
yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
something doesn't add up there. And for an owner, this is for an owner to say this, a co-owner of the New York Giants to come out and say this. That's surprising because it means more revenue for the league. It
Oh,
means more
yeah.
revenue for the team. But for an owner to say that, that means there's some validity of this doesn't need to be 18 games.
No, yeah, and at least from what I'm reading, it seems like the majority of owners do support this, so it probably will end up happening. But I'm glad Mara did say something, at least from a player health, safety standpoint and all that. Yeah, you can't have it both ways, and I was listening to Michael Lombardi, right, John?
Yeah.
I was listening to his GM Shuffle podcast with Femi today, and they were this was brought up, and they brought up an interesting part about or take on this, which actually I wanted to see your thoughts on this. I I don't know how I feel about it. He basically was saying if you want to go to an 18 game season, that then put the players on basically like a snap count or a pitch count, or that sort of stuff. I think it would be really hard to implement, especially on the line. Because the O and D line guys, they're playing damn near every single play. So I think it would be kind of hard. I think in the backfield, safeties, linebackers, and that sort of stuff, I think it would be a little bit more feasible. But I don't think I would like that. And I heard this on a podcast or a little bit ago. I know we weren't planning on talking about this, but I wanted to see your thoughts on this.
Why are we trying to reinvent the wheel? The NFL has been around since 1922, and now you're trying to take what essentially is a violent and barbaric sport. It is what it is. There's no changing that. And now you're trying to say, for us to play more games, I now have to have players only play a certain length of time. If that's the case, then what you're telling me is also I need the salary cap to go away. Because now, no different than the closer for in a baseball game, if I'm the closing center, I want to be paid close to what the starting center's paid. If I'm the closing quarterback, I want to be paid with this close to what the starting quarterback's paid. If I'm, if I'm the game saving strong safety, free safety, I want my money because I'm a ball hawk. I understand the logic that you have there, what you want to do, but you have to understand that other component of it is, no different than in baseball. You got us. Patrick Mahomes gets us to the third quarter, and I'm able to go out and find a closing quarterback who is going to run around more, and I don't have to risk his health and safety. But at some point in time, that guy's going to ask for some more money.
Oh, of course.
And then the second component of that comes about is what exactly is the play? Because for a quarterback, once he takes the snap and it's a running play and he hands it off, essentially he's out of the play. So what exactly is considered a play at that point in time? For the wide receiver where the ball doesn't come to his side of the field, the cornerback that it doesn't come to his side of the field, are they in the play? Are they out of the play? And then like you said, as a lineman, that's every single play.
Yeah, I mean, those guys aren't coming unless they're injured or there's, something. But yeah, I mean, the linemen are playing damn near every snap of the ball. So
no,
I
there's
don't
no
know.
near. There, a good lineman is playing every single snap.
Yes. So yeah, honestly, I don't know how you would implement this. It was just it was actually the first time I had heard that take on this, so I was just curious to get your thoughts on it. But I think we both agree on it. I think it's a terrible idea.
And speaking of linemen, Pro Football Focus, they were talking about who their breakout player of the year could be. And it is the New York Giants' own John Michael Schmidt.
Okay.
Second year center.
Yeah.
Got the starting job pretty early. They said he could be the breakout player. Now, I haven't watched a ton of film on him. I will do some studying of him because I want to know their thoughts on this. But all right, let's go back in the day. Let's be a little transparent here. Let's go back to high school.
All right, let's do it.
What kind of student were you in high school?
Okay. Well,
Be honest.
I am being honest. I actually did it in reverse. Freshman year, I did really well, and then I started having a little too much fun, and it went progressively downhill from there. What about you?
So, okay, I was a steady student. I was a solid B student. I played football, so I kept my grades about the same.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm a F student, which John Schmidt, a 41.4 overall grade and a 26.9 pass blocking grade as a rookie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you get it up to 50, yeah, it is an improvement, but you're still failing.
You're still, yeah, you're not. It's still an F.
His run blocking grade was a 51.3, and it's worth. I mean, okay, he had 30 pressures allowed at by week 18.
Yeah.
Okay, you get it up to a 65, it's still an F, I think. I don't know what the grades are now.
I mean, I think we both, even watching last year or whatever, like you said, I haven't watched full transparency. We both haven't watched the tape on this guy, but I mean, I know the O-line in general was just a complete debacle last year. I'm pretty sure didn't they give up the most sacks in the league last year?
Yep.
I'm almost positive. Like it was. I can't remember. I don't have the numbers in front of me. Last year, it was ugly. We all know. We don't need to relive it. So yeah, like John said, if you go from a 40 to a 50, is it improving? Yeah, sure, but you're still failing. I mean, hey, look, I really do hope we've figured out the O-line issues this year. God knows we've been trying for, I feel like, well over a decade. I'm feeling pretty good about this group of guys. I think they have it together. They made some good signings in the off season with Runyon. Yeah, I could only pray that we figured out the offensive line. What about you, man?
I can't put all of the blame on the offensive line for the and I know this is not to be contradictory. I can't put all of the blame on the offensive line when you get used to one quarterback going one way, he goes down. You get another quarterback, he plays another kind of way, he goes down. You get the third quarterback, which you've probably never even played with him before.
Oh yeah.
Even just something as simple as a center. If you guys have ever looked at Jeff Saturday. And Jeff Saturday talked about the first time him and Peyton Manning got to work together. He told Peyton Manning, hey, look at the back of my pants. Peyton said, yeah. So you see the brown spot back there? Right in the middle? He said, yeah. Put your hands right underneath that. And Peyton said, what? It's a symbiotic relationship that you got to get used to. And so now where Tyrod Taylor's running around, and the hardest thing to do as a lineman is when the quarterback's moving and you're blocking to the right and he comes running around the corner, you're like, wait, what are you doing there? And now you got to shift left. So I can't put all the blame on him, but it also wasn't that great.
No. Well, and like you just said, is like, it was a revolving door with quarterbacks. I guarantee you Tommy Cutlets wasn't taking snaps with the first team at all until he had
the second team
or the
third team
or the fifth team or the 10th. But yeah, I mean, you're 100% right, man. It's I would hope so. You know, if everyone could stay injury free this year, I would think that we've all figured it out. And I know we both have brought this up in the past. I feel like, especially if Evan Neal can figure out right tackle, I think that will be a big thing, a big relief for the rest of the line, because I'm not worried about the left side, and still think Runyon will still be able to do his thing. So if Evan Neal can figure out his ish at right tackle, I have no reason to not believe that the line should be okay.
No, I have my optimism about it. And look, I keep saying it, and I know it doesn't work well because, well, what are we supposed to talk about right now? But call me when the pads get to popping.
Exactly, man. Yeah, seriously. This is all,
right now, every team's undefeated.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's, call me, like you keep saying, call me when the pads are popping, man. Absolutely, man.
Before we wrap up and we get out of here for the night, I told you guys that we were going to talk to you. Now, I'm not saying who you are.
Yeah.
But here's who I'm going to talk to. Clear my throat.
Oh, now it's getting serious now.
For all you trolls out there, I stole this phrase from Rick Steiner, the dog-faced gremlin, a former pro wrestler, retired pro wrestler, Hall of Famer, tag team specialist, All-American at the University of Michigan, great wrestler. His son is going to be a great wrestler. His brother is a great wrestler. They are champions. They should be in Hall of Fames all over. They are world champions. They're tag team champions all over the world. WWE. So you're probably wondering, dude, what are you talking about? For all you trolls, if you don't like us, bite us. All right? We've seen the comments. Bro, you know who you are. Bro, you don't even know who they're playing. What are you talking about? It was such. I'm talking to you. If you don't like it, go ahead and get on a podcast. Call me by name.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah, we could take calls on this. Maybe we should invite this guy onto the pod one time, John.
No,
we don't want to do that.
No, because look, he is a tough guy. He or she, they
are keyboard warriors.
Yes, and for those of y'all who can't see us, let's just I'm gonna put you on a little bit of game here. Introduce you to some things. If they get on here and they argue with me and I shut them down, they're gonna go to a word that's going to get them canceled and possibly roughed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Y'all know what word I'm talking about.
I think I have an idea.
And so we don't want that. We want peace. I'm not trying to start no static. I don't want no issues. Look, here's the beauty of this whole podcast world. You can get on here. You can go start your own too. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to follow me. You don't have to like me. For everybody else who's followed, watched the videos, we're on Instagram, Twitter.
Share Stadium Podcast, our IG handle, I believe.
We appreciate you guys. And look, I get it. I appreciate trolls too. I'm joking around. I like to have a little bit of fun. It's fine. If you don't like what I'm saying, turn the channel. It's okay. Go listen to the Jets podcast.
There's a million other podcasts. You don't have to listen to us.
No, you do not have to listen to us, but you control us. It's fine. It's okay. We kind of like it. I'm not offended by. I mean, look. Step one, you're talking to two bald guys wearing glasses. Do you think we care?
No, of course not.
So
I could care less. You say whatever you got to say. Honestly, I've probably heard it before in my life before, so you're not going to hurt my feelings.
You'd have to say something.
You'd have to really say something that would shock me to really upset me. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I appreciate the trolls. If they want to keep coming, keep bringing them in. So we'll stir it up, stir the pot, baby, stir the pot.
Here's the things that we're not going to allow here. Okay, Number one, pineapple does not belong on pizza.
Amen.
I'm going to start there. Number two, if you break it, and I'm speaking as if I am from Keith's culture. I'm not, but there's some things that I wholeheartedly agree with. If you break your spaghetti noodles before you put them in to boil, we're not going to allow that here. Okay?
Nope. Nope.
I'm gonna bring this
John,
over
are
to.
you sure? Are you sure you're not Italian, John? My God.
I'm 100% sure I'm not Italian. You're not gonna go putting ice in your red wine. Okay?
Is that John Radcliffe Radcliffe Alito?
I mean, it's not Radcliffe Steen.
Yeah, Radcliffe Steen. God Almighty.
You're not gonna put red wine, ice in your red wine. I'm gonna bring this over to my culture. You're not putting raisins in the potato salad.
Hey, actually, I hate when. How do you feel about grapes and potato salad or chicken salad too?
That doesn't go there either. I won't.
Thank you,
If I
thank you,
want grapes,
thank
I'll
you.
put them on the side.
Exactly.
You're not going to sit here and tell me that the mac and cheese that you make in the pot on top in the pot on top of the stove is real mac and cheese. That's not. We're not going to allow that here. Okay?
No, we're bringing authentic, baby.
You
That's
know,
what it's all about.
you're not bringing that. And last but certainly, absolutely certainly not least, you're not going to sit here and tell me that you drink real cappuccino with cream and sugar. You're not going to just, I'm not having all of this, okay? Let me tell you.
I love this rant by John. My God, this is a beautiful thing, baby.
Look, there's some things that I have seen lately that I have been appalled by. Oh, and well, I won't say that one, just in case they become a sponsor.
Hey, yeah, if you want to sponsor us, tell a friend. Tell a friend.
Just in case they want to become a sponsor, I'm not going to talk about them. But look, there's some things that you're just not going to sit here and tell me. There's some restaurants, I'm going to say it this way, that you're not going to tell me is authentic Italian. And look, there's some fried chicken places that you're just not going to tell me is authentic fried chicken, okay?
Oh, hey, actually, that reminds me of fried chicken. Did you try the KFC saucy nuggets yet?
No, I haven't tried the KFC saucy nuggets yet.
I haven't either. I might have to tomorrow.
Wait, but let me tell you, please. Okay, so we're gonna title this segment, just plain and simple, the fat segment of the show. Did you know? This is the fat segment of the show. So if you are ultra fit, you can keep listening and you can talk about us. But if not, you can go ahead and log off. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you next time. We'll talk to you next week. But if you want to join us and just be pleasantly happy, hey man, did you know Wendy's is selling a 50-piece nuggets? You can go get a.
So I did hear about this the other day. I saw it, but I'm curious to see what the price are. But
it's like $12. It's like $12.
Oh my God!
It's between $12 and $15. Not every location has them. You got to go on their website.
And their nuggets they're not Chick-fil-A, but they're not bad. You know what they remind me of? They remind me kind of like the Dino nuggets you would buy at the grocery store. That's what they remind. And those I like those.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna help you guys out. Wendy's, hang on to this. I'm gonna give you a free advertisement. Come football season, get up, go get you 50-piece nuggets. Wendy's, you also need to make a bucket of French fries.
Yes.
And so somebody can come and get them a 50-piece nugget, a bucket of French fries, and depending on where you're located, get you a soda and sit in front of the TV and watch football. Now, my blood pressure just went up a little bit talking about that. So,
and if you're feeling extra crazy, you can do a Frosty.
Once again, don't just make your regular cup Frosty. At this point in time, somebody is being really fat they're going to do
Hey,
this. You
yeah.
make a big styrofoam cup, a big
Oh
gulp
yeah.
size.
If you're getting 50 nuggets and a bucket of fries, there here this ain't the skinny fry. You're you're gonna supersize it if this was McDonald's.
So I'm going to say this right now. If you're taking Ozempic or any of them weight loss drugs, go ahead and log off now. Thank you guys for
Yeah.
listening. I appreciate y'all for listening.
Thank you.
Just caught in
Yeah,
for
we've
you.
we've now entered the fat stage of the show.
If
But
you've
yes,
recently run up a mountain, this part's not for you either. I'm just giving
no,
all the disclaimers now so nobody, oh my God, oh my goodness, what are they talking about? No, we
nothing
don't want to
about
hear it. I'm talking
no
about on football Sunday, going to get you 50 nuggets, a bucket of fries, a big Frosty, and an orange soda.
orange soda. Man, all right, so man, that orange soda. You know what else I love too? I'm a sucker for Dr. Pepper, man. Do you like Dr. Pepper?
I do.
Yeah.
So
It,
that's
orange soda and Dr. Pepper, man. God, those two are can't beat them, man.
so to the fine folks at Wendy's, if you would like to sponsor us, your name into here. Here.
Hey,
Okay, look. I'm gonna give you a free. I learned
yeah,
from some professionals about this stuff. Watch this.
yeah.
You ever get that craving in the middle of the night for? I don't even remember the spot. Do you like bad food? Of course not.
God, of course not.
If you're local to Atlanta, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
If you don't, but here, I'll give you a free spot right here. Look. The Share Stadium podcast is brought to you by Insert Your Business Name Here. John Rad, Keith Ippolito, we love Insert Your Business Name Here. Good food all the time, late at night, whenever we just want a snack, we go by Insert Your Business Name Here. Reach out to them, go online, use the code SharedStadium/NYG, insert the business name here, and you get our code for 15% off. What'd you think?
There we go. It's like he's done this before.
All right, look, we're going to wrap it up. Look, we thank you guys for taking the time to listen to us just be silly, be stupid. Follow us on Twitter, formerly known as X. I'm John Rad 450.
Keith Ip 86.
And you can also follow the Shared Stadium podcast on Instagram. Like, subscribe, follow, tell a friend, Go by Wendy's, get your 50 nuggets, but don't go doing any other things. And if you want to troll us, knock yourself out, have a little fun. You got nothing better to do with your life. Thank you guys for listening. And like the old adage says, if you don't like us, fight us. Until next time.